All right, Lyndsey, just wanted to jump into like ambition, fear of failure, maybe a scenario where that might have come to play for you, either in the Olympic run or post-Olympic run, the whole thing.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite and least favorite things to talk about because there's a lot of I mean, now it's all an opportunity to teach and learn and everything, but there was a lot of shame at the time. But I really struggled with fear of failure, and I think a lot of it was a product of growing up. I was pretty successful at things. You know, I had a great support system at home that didn't really let me fail very often, which is good and bad. I think as I hopefully get ready to go into parenting, I'm gonna try to maybe make some adjustments there. But um, I was good at hockey. I was good at school. I had, friends. Like things were just trucking along. And then I get to college, and that was really where I was sort of exposed for my weaknesses for the first time. Because, especially when it comes to sports, when you're naturally talented, you can sort of hide your weaknesses up to a certain point. I get to college, and I think I shared this story with you guys at Niley, but I get to college, and the first thing we do had nothing to do with on ice part of the on ice part of hockey. It was all the off ice testing. And, I've always been pretty strong, so the strength stuff was fine. Then we get to the conditioning test. And I hated conditioning. I hated it so much that I really didn't work on it that often. It was sort of just like, meh, as long as I'm on the ice at practice, I'm getting enough. So we had to do this test that was you had to run 10 yards back, 20 yards back, 30 yards back in under like 25 seconds. And then you got the rest of the minute to rest, and you had to do it 9 more times, which maybe doesn't sound that awful. It's like 10 minutes of hell. It's terrible. So I get through the first one barely. And then I think the second one, I like by a hair made it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to fail the third one. But I was so afraid of failure. I was so afraid to show my weakness as a freshman in front of all of my teammates that instead of just doing it and failing, I like essentially pretended to pass out. And I hate telling that story so much, but it really was the first time I had to like face the music and experience that. And of course, my coaches were like, "This girl, if she thinks she's getting away with this," they sent me to Mass General Hospital to get a stress test on my heart. I was fine. Heart was fine. I was just out of shape. And it really was the first time that I had learned that failure sucks. There's no way around it. Um, but we can either look at it as an opportunity. Again, kind of going back to sort of that objective data point that we talked about earlier. We can look at it as an objective piece of information and do something with it, or we can let it consume us and get in the way of our goals.